Today on the 01581, a conversation about the downtown development plan and the scavenger hunt, and a few updates on upcoming events in the community. Hi, and welcome back to this episode of the 01581 Let's Talk. I'm joined by our Director of Planning, Jenny Gingras, and a consultant working with the town, Eric Halvorsen. Welcome to you both.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. So we're going to talk about a project, an initiative that stems out of our master plan.
Yes.
But before we get into that, so our viewers can get to know both of you a little bit, Jenny, if you would introduce yourself, and then Eric, you're next.
Yeah. So I'm Jenny Gingras. I'm the Director of Planning. I've been with the town only since about July.
Yeah,
So
almost coming up on a year.
almost a year.
Right?
I can't believe it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. This did not happen. It's not. This is like.
This is not Planning Associated or Westbrook Associated.
So for those that want to go into the field, it's
no, totally separate.
Okay,
Yes,
all right,
yeah.
excellent. And Jenny, just a little bit for folks that don't know, what does the Director of Planning do? Like, what's your role here in town?
Sure. So I look at the development projects coming in to town, whether it be large multifamily or commercial projects, things like that. I staff the planning board, so any development projects that come in typically have to go through a site plan review and look at the different characteristics of the projects, such as transportation, landscaping, everything.
Yeah.
From A to Z.
Zoning conformity, all of that.
Right.
Sure.
I also do a lot of writing of the zoning bylaw. So
Yes, you had a lot of that work going on at the last town meeting. Yes,
yes,
congratulations.
Yep. So actually, we had worked with Eric as a consultant for the MBTA communities zoning bylaw. So that bylaw has passed at town meeting, as we know, which is very exciting, and we're happy to see the town's support of that.
Excellent. And I know we work together on the Active Transportation Safety Committee, so you also do a lot of committee work kind of in supporting those committees kind of as their work kind of transects planning and other projects.
Yeah, I staff actually multiple committees besides the planning board, and I'm also on the Economic Development Committee. I staff ATSC, the Active Transportation and Safety Committee. I'm on Sustainable Westboro,
That's right. Yep.
the Master Plan Implementation Committee, and I'm sure a couple others that I'm missing.
Sure,
So planning touches basically every single aspect
Sure,
of the town. And
well, you work with DPW and other public safety departments depending upon
Right.
the work that's going on, and yep, absolutely.
Yes,
Good.
Yeah, so it's definitely very busy, and but I love it. So,
Sure.
yeah.
And just for maybe our younger viewers, so what's your degree in? How did you find your way to this kind of work?
So I actually started out with a degree in legal studies. I was a paralegal for a very long time, and I had dabbled a little bit in land use law,
Okay.
and I found I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And then from there, I decided, I'm kind of at the top of my career.
Sure.
I was, at the top of being a paralegal. I didn't want to go to law school.
Yeah.
So I decided to pursue another degree in actually business management. So
Okay.
not really a planning
Okay.
degree.
Yep. Yep.
But I wanted it to be versatile enough.
Yeah.
And from there, I decided I wanted to work for a town. And I
Cool.
started out in Lexington,
Yep.
and I worked there as the zoning administrator
Okay.
for almost 7 years.
Okay.
And then I went to another town as the planner, and now I'm in Westboro.
Excellent, excellent. Well, good. I love that kind of question because folks wonder, like, how do you get into this kind of work? And your experience really kind of shows that you can take maybe not a direct path, but you
Right.
can. But there are commonalities that ultimately,
Yes.
kind of find you here. Great.
It took me a long time to figure out what I wanted to do, and
Nothing wrong
that's
with that.
okay. Yeah,
I'm still
happy.
searching, so if anyone knows, let me know. No, I'm just kidding. Eric, welcome. A little bit about yourself, your background, and the relationship you have with the town, please.
Sure. So Eric Halvorsen, I'm a principal with RKG Associates, and we're the lead consultant to the town on the downtown plan. We also have 3 other consulting firms working with us on this, and they have very specific roles around transportation, zoning, and then sort of visualization, sort of thinking about the future. RKG Associates, a little bit about us. I manage our Boston office, so we're located in downtown Boston. We've been around for 43 years, always based here in New England, and working with cities, towns, counties, states, you name it. We have other offices around the country too, so we do work nationally, but most of the work that the Boston office does tends to be very New England focused and has been for decades.
Okay. And is RKG the basketball symbol? Is that a different? That's a totally different one. And maybe I'm thinking of maybe it's a different acronym. Okay. All right. Sorry.
I think I know what you're thinking
That's
of,
okay.
but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. Okay. All right. So based in Boston, thanks for trekking all the way out west here. Although I do hear you have some local fans that live here.
We do. Yeah.
in the area. Excellent. All right. Great. So let's talk about kind of this downtown development plan. What is it? How does it connect to the master plan?
Sure. So the master plan was done in 2022, I believe. It was finished in 2022.
All those COVID years run together.
Yes,
So.
the early 20s just run all together.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
And part of the master plan was to come up with action items or priorities and goals that the town needs to implement. So there's many things in there, from transportation initiatives to zoning initiatives. But really, it's taking a comprehensive look at what we want to see for the town in the next 5 to 10 years. And so every committee and board has these items assigned to them. Planning has more than half, which is great because we touch so many different things. But we really want to look out into the future and taking a look at the demographics, the existing conditions, what we expect in the future, and how we can prepare for it now. And one of the focuses that the master plan wanted us to delve into is the downtown. Sure. As I'm sure.
And that's a broad topic, right? Because depending upon who you're asking about the downtown, it could be, we need to fix the rotary, right? We need better pedestrian bike safety. We need more economic development. We need a more vibrant downtown. We need housing, right? So it really, there's so many different elements that kind of could potentially comprise that.
There's so many different elements, and it's definitely important. It's the heart of Westboro, I think. Everybody knows about downtown. You have to drive through it to get from one side to the other. And there's a lot of historic features that we want to preserve, but there's a lot of safety issues that maybe we haven't been keeping up with, similar to other towns. Thinking about keeping people in downtown, maybe not such a car-centric area. There's a lot of people that live around the downtown that want to live in the downtown area so they can walk, bike, without necessarily using their car.
Absolutely.
And so that's part of what we're looking at in this downtown plan. And so to get there, what we did was, before I had started, a grant was applied for through the One Stop for Growth program. And we received a grant from the state to be able to hire a consultant to take a comprehensive look at our zoning downtown, the transportation, and other elements, and then give us recommendations on what we can do to plan for the future in terms of those initiatives. And so
welcome, Eric.
That's where we hired Eric. So
excellent.
Yeah, I went through a competitive bid process, and RKG Associates was the winning bidder.
And so what's the, what's the end goal of the work with RKG and kind of as part of this plan? Like, so we go, well, maybe let me step back. What's the process of the plan that we're working on? Because we do want to talk about the scavenger hunt in an upcoming meeting or meetings. So let's talk about that for a minute, and then we'll kind of talk about the end goal, if you will.
Yeah, sure. So RKG has been interviewing stakeholders in town, which means just the business owners, people that live in the area or that go through the area a lot, and then in addition to departments, talking to the different departments about what they see as the issues in downtown or challenges and opportunities. So I don't know if you want to talk any more about that in detail. what you're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. So just in terms of our process, so we did a tour of the whole downtown, a walking tour with staff, which was awesome, and our consultant team. We've been going through the stakeholder interview process, which we just finished up, and that was engaging with property owners, business owners, department heads, as Jenny mentioned. We've also done a lot of sort of digging into the data and the information because we're outsiders to Westboro, so we need to understand the place and what makes it unique and special, but also what are some of the challenges. And then as we start to think about the plan for the future, we're trying to identify ways in which we can improve a place that honestly has a lot of really good bones already. There's great buildings, there's historical aspects, there's lots of cool businesses here. So we're just trying to figure out how to leverage all that and make it that much better to match the vision that people have. So in order to do that, we need to understand, what are also the opportunities from the market perspective. So are there opportunities for additional retail and service businesses? Are there opportunities for maybe adding housing in the downtown as a component of a building that has a business on the first floor with housing above? Those kinds of things. So we've shared that, our research and information with the town a couple weeks ago, and we're going to be sharing that with the public at the upcoming meeting. We're going to have the meeting where we're really trying to understand from the public's perspective and residents and people who come and visit and frequent downtown, what do they see as the future vision 5 or 10 years? What does success look like in the downtown? We'll take all that information and then come up with the actual strategies to then come back to the town and say, if you want to get from point A to point B, here's some suggestions that we have for how to do that. And they'll all be categorized. There'll be transportation suggestions for sure. We've heard an incredible amount about that. We'll be looking at the zoning as well. Does the zoning that's in place today, does it actually enable what people want to see in the future? What are the barriers or the challenges, and how do we fix those? We're also looking at nitty-gritty things like, what does the permitting process look like for getting new businesses up and running? Is that streamlined? Does it make sense? Are there barriers, particularly maybe for those who have never started a business before? Is it easy? Do they know who to go to? Those kinds of things.
Excellent. Okay. And as part of all this process, we also have a scavenger hunt that's going on now. And so I'm curious, have you done this in other towns, or is this sort of just a Okay.
So thanks to Jenny and the town for being really open to the idea. I came here before to prepare for the proposal and for the interview that we had as part of the bid process. I came here with my kids and my wife, and we have family who just moved here from out of state. So we were walking around. They wanted to come on this walk with me, which is great. So we ended up walking around. My kids are 9 and 6, so they're little still. And what I found was, like, crossing the roads, I was like, holy cow, some of the crossings are really large, and especially around the Rotary. And so for me as a pedestrian...
Sort of like playing Frogger at times. For those of us that are old enough to remember that.
Absolutely. And so I think to experience a downtown, you should experience it as a pedestrian. Not, obviously people drive to and through it, but you really get a sense of the place when you're walking and, like, how does it feel? And I could already see some things in Westboro that I was like, well, there's some really interesting things. So the idea of the scavenger hunt was, can we get people out of their cars and experience it like I had experienced it a couple months ago as a pedestrian? Like, how would we encourage people to do that? So, we came up with this idea of doing a scavenger hunt that takes you from sort of Bay State Commons out all around in a circular. It's about a mile pathway if you do the whole thing and come back. So,
Excellent. So folks can find out, I got a QR code here. We can probably put that up on the screen after, toward the end of this conversation. How long does it last? How do you access it, et cetera?
So we actually extended the time until the end of next week, which I think is the 12th. To give people the opportunity to get out there. I know the weather hasn't been incredible. So,
as we sit here in the studio, we're expecting, I don't know, hail and rain or something outside. Right.
March and April.
Right.
But I think the important thing is that it's open anytime. So you can do this in the middle of the night if you really want to. In the early morning, and I think it's just under a mile walk. And there's really clever poems that someone in Eric's company came up with. And so it really makes you think about the downtown and the areas you're in, trying to find the different businesses.
Okay.
And so it's a
Look up, down, and all around, right? Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
and that's the purpose, because when you're driving through, you're not necessarily looking at.
Yeah, hopefully not.
No, hopefully you're looking at the road.
But yeah,
But-
absolutely.
But that's most of the feedback from the community, is that they want a place that's pedestrian friendly,
Sure,
bike friendly,
Sure,
that people will want to come and stay
Yep.
and visit
and enjoy.
and enjoy.
Yep,
And
absolutely. And businesses want that too, right? So there's
Absolutely.
a beneficial, good. So we'll make sure that we get this posted. So you mentioned there's an upcoming session, so folks can participate through the scavenger hunt. They can also participate in an upcoming meeting on April 9th. And what can they expect from that meeting?
So it's a open public meeting
Yep.
where the agenda for that is sort of twofold. One, we're going to give about a 20 to 30 minute intro presentation.
Okay.
Why we're doing, why the town is doing this, what the work that we're doing, and then start to share some of the background information that we've uncovered through
Okay,
our
great,
analysis.
great.
So the hope is everybody will be starting with a good frame of reference and sort of where the downtown and Westboro is at today. Then that'll, like I said, 20 or 30 minutes of that. Then the rest of the meeting will be open. So we'll have 4 or 5 different topic-based stations.
Okay.
So there'll be one about what is your vision and goals for the future.
Okay.
One that's going to have a big sort of 3-dimensional map with
Cool.
like 3D buildings on it.
Okay.
And we'll be asking people to put stickers on that map of where they want to see improvements
Oh,
or
nice.
maybe a new development or new crosswalks, whatever it might be.
Cool.
We'll have one station specific to transportation. There'll be
Yep.
a big aerial of the Rotary.
Okay.
So our transportation consultants will be tackling that one. There'll be one
Excellent.
about land use and zoning. So
Okay.
there'll be a bunch of
Great.
different
So
stations.
it sounds like very,
Very
interactive and a great opportunity for the public to engage with the process.
yes,
Good,
and
good.
there will be food.
Oh, well,
right.
hey,
So-
I'm sold.
If you're just hungry and you want
Right.
to come over,
Like, and it's a great way to interact with other members of the community, right? Probably
Definitely.
meet some people you haven't met before, and
Right.
but bring a friend too. So
yeah, it
good.
is. We're trying to get as many people involved as possible, and
Excellent.
not just existing board and committee members,
Right,
but
right.
anyone.
People are tired of hearing from all those people. No, seriously,
Well,
you're
you
right.
want more people
you
involved.
absolutely right,
and
right.
Because it's Westboro's downtown. It's your community, and we have a population of
Yeah,
about
20,000,
21,000
right.
people, and we'd like to see a good turnout
Right.
because it impacts everyone.
Absolutely.
And
Good.
Yeah, so
Good.
we're looking forward to that.
Okay, so and so it starts at 6 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
6 p.m. goes until
About eight.
8
but
o'clock. Okay,
People
so
could feel free to go
Yeah.
after they
after they
do
give all their
whatever, yeah.
transportation comments.
Exactly. So
Yeah. I have to ask, will the railroad bridge be part of the discussion?
I have to imagine it would come up.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Okay, so once all this is done, then what happens? Like, what's next?
So we'll take all that feedback
Mm-hmm.
along with all the stakeholder interviews we've done and the information we've collected and start to come up with strategies for
Okay.
how the town can, like I said before,
Start
get
to
from
implement.
A
Yep.
to B.
Okay,
So we'll share that internally with staff first and get their feedback.
Sure.
And then we'd like to come back and do a second meeting with the
Okay.
public to talk about that so they can see how their feedback then gets
Excellent.
fed directly into the strategies.
great, excellent. Okay, super. And so, Jenny, if folks want to understand more about this work, where can they go to find information?
Right on the planning department page on the town website.
Okay, excellent.
So maybe you can add a link on here.
Yeah, we
but,
can do that. Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
But we have it right front and center. There's also a projects tab that you can click on, and you
Okay.
can see what we're doing in the planning department,
Excellent.
what we're working on. We're actually working on a housing production plan as well. So a lot of different initiatives and trying to look into the future and,
Yeah.
and a comprehensive look at Westboro.
Excellent.
But you can also go onto the website and you'll see a link if you don't want to do the QR code.
Yep.
You can click on there. And then we also have paper copies if you don't want to use your phone.
Yep.
There's a paper copy available in the town hall
Okay.
building,
Okay.
in the planning department, the library, and the senior center.
Excellent, excellent. And that's referencing the scavenger hunt.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
excellent.
the
Yep.
the same. It's
Great.
it's a survey.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can fill it out as you go and then turn it in.
Turn it
And,
in. Excellent.
one thing that we didn't talk about is
Mm-hmm.
that there is a great prize. So if you do
Okay,
that,
wait,
I know
we
this
like
is really
prize alert,
important.
prize alert.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
if you complete the scavenger hunt, at the
Okay.
end it asks you for your name and information. You're entered into a raffle to win a prize, and the prize is essentially a gift basket with different gift cards and items from businesses downtown.
Awesome.
So,
Great.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
All
a
right.
good prize.
That's awesome.
Yes.
All right. Well, now we've got incentive. It's not just about input, it's about opportunity
Right.
here. Excellent. Great.
Right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on today and updating our viewers about this opportunity to inform the future. It's very exciting.
Great.
So,
Thank
excellent.
you.
Thanks.
for having us.
All right. And I'll be right back with a quick update on community events around town. Hi, and welcome back. Just a couple quick updates on things going on around in the community that I thought you might want to know about. First of all, this month's edition of the Senior Scene has a ton of activities going on, and I'll just mention a few. But you can always pick up a copy of the Senior Scene at Town Hall, at the Senior Center, at the library, at various locations and businesses throughout town. On Saturday, April 6th, is the Veterans Breakfast, sponsored by the American Legion Post. That's a delicious breakfast of baked French toast, sausage, juice, coffee. It's open to all local veterans. They do ask that you make your reservations this week. You can call 508-366-3000 to make your reservations. And also on Saturday, April 6th, is the Senior Citizen Spaghetti Dinner, sponsored by Boy Scout Troop 100. This is an annual event. It starts at 5 p.m. at the Senior Center. Call the Senior Center again at 508-366-3000 to make your reservation. Also at the Senior Center coming up is the opening day at Fenway. That's Tuesday, April 9th. The party starts at 12:30 p.m. They do ask that you call to make a reservation so they can plan ahead. Folks are asked to wear their favorite player shirt. I'm assuming that's only Red Sox players allowed. Just kidding. I'm sure they'll let you in if you have a Yankees shirt on. But there's no charge to attend, and sounds like a fun event. And then finally, the Westboro Garden Club is offering 2 $1,000 scholarships for any Westboro resident graduating high school. So that's Westboro High School or Assabet Valley. And for those pursuing a college major in horticulture, landscape architecture, or botany. Email your interest with an essay to the Westboro Garden Club at gmail.com. The deadline for that application and essay is April 24th, 2024. So for folks who know a graduating senior, appreciate if you could share this message with them. You can also contact the Garden Club through their website or their Facebook page for more information. That's all today for the 01581. I'm going to head out and do my scavenger hunt so that I have a chance at that awesome prize. Hope to see you around, walking around the downtown, doing your scavenger hunt, and bring a friend along. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the 01581 Let's Talk.